Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Austin here, and today I will be reacting to Hermitcraft 8, episode 24, Chest Monster. So this video is by Mumbo Jumbo, and I'm totally expecting this episode to be about his big storage system that he's been working on in the past. He hasn't worked on it recently, but he has worked on it in previous episodes, so hopefully, hopefully he can get it done, at least for the most part, in this episode. If you guys have been enjoying this series so far, I highly suggest that you go to Mumbo Jumbo's channel, and I highly suggest that you go subscribe to him as well. He makes amazing videos, and honestly, I would highly recommend it to anybody, especially those who are very interested in Minecraft. Also, only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you like my videos, please subscribe. It's free. You can always unsubscribe later if you want to. Enjoy the video.
Previously on the Hermitcraft server. You hear that? I sound like a proper TV show. Green went AFK next to my base, so I decided to send him up into the sky and then off into the distance. I just sent him north and hoped that he would continue going for as long as possible. And he did continue going for a decent length of time, travelling a couple thousand blocks. But then, unfortunately, something weird happened. He fell to his death and he died. Yeah, not really very peace-loving plants of me. But last time I checked, killing someone with a plane that you constructed doesn't count towards the statistics. So I'm still very much peacing, loving and planting. But it did mean that I had to have a slightly awkward conversation and very awkward flight home with him. Let's roll the clips.
Right. I've looked back at I was truly AFK. I've just looked back at the footage.
Yep.
And I just fell. I just glitched through the machine. You passed the AFK test. You did something.
Do you want to see your super fancy aeroplane?
Oh my goodness.
It's pretty good, isn't it? And we're off.
Hey!
the boat and private jet. Oh no! Yeah, just two boys
I'm a bit jealous of your netherite.
Two boys cruising at the front of their jet.
So this is our life now.
Yep, this is the rest of the season.
Why are we going forward? Why didn't we go backwards?
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, it might have worked going backwards. This could work. I honestly don't know. Can we fly this jet backwards? The block that you're standing on isn't going to go, but that's even funnier. See ya.
Oh. I can't believe it. I can't believe that it reverses.
We got a reversing jet, dude. This is pretty ridiculous. This is the most broken conversation I've ever had in my entire life. Right, look, this is where you have to stay. You have to hold crouch, but then go here. I think this seems to be the trick. And then you kind of do like a weird bouncing. It seems like the thing that would work the least, but it seems to actually work.
I really don't like this.
I can promise that flight was a lot longer than what I cut it down to. And honestly, I'm not sure if this is a good thing, but the Boatum private jet is now a permanent resident of the Boatum village. And I must admit, it provides a very good vantage point of some of the incredible builds that are in this area. I mean, this isn't bad.
It does.
Just for that reason alone. Although I can't help but feel like this, coupled with the Volcarbo and all of the other nonsense that I've built in this area, I'm sure I'm trying the patience of some of the prettier builders in this zone. On the topic of the Volcarbo, I'm very curious. Has this been successful? It's been successful! We've got 8 diamonds in here. I can make 4 hoes, 8 jukeboxes, 16 whole stacks of glow lichen. I think I might be getting carried away. In the previous Hermitcraft episode, I worked incredibly hard on getting all of the houses constructed on the top of our armchair here. And I have to say, I couldn't be much more proud of what I've managed to achieve with this build. I'm not going to bang on about this for too long because I've been banging on about it a lot. But I'm really happy with how all of this came together. I absolutely love the block palette. I love all of the structures. I just think it looks fantastic. I think it looks so good. It is so in line with what I wanted from the build. So I am chuffed to bits. Beyond chuffed. I'm going to need a new word because chuffed is not cutting it. What can I say that's better than chuffed? I'm overflowing with chuff. No, that sounds weird. I'm changed.
But yeah, dude, look, if you go back, just look at this. Just like the combination of different colors. I mean, this one here, if you look, I don't know if you can see the mouse now, but this one here and this one here kind of look similar, but just because they look a little bit different and they're on different sides of the build and they're not even on the same height either. You know, like, and these ones look similar, right? I think one of them might be slightly different, but even still, you know, this one is on a higher height than this one. You know, if you look closely, you will see some builds that do look the same in different ways, but they're also different in certain ways as well. And a combination of that just makes it look really good, I think.
I'm chafed. No, that means something else. I have been riding my bike a lot lately, though. I think we should move very swiftly on from that one. In today's Hermitcraft episode, I want to work on this area on the inside of the waterfall, because, I mean, let's be real, I built up all of the redstone and things, and it looks absolutely fantastic. This is incredible, but decoration-wise, yeah, it's pants, isn't it? It's terrible. So I want to do some serious work on making this place look a little bit better and a little bit more complete.
Is it going to keep the corner office up there?
On what I'm going to do for the roof, because I think I've had a slight change of plan. Time to resource gather. And actually, I think most of the resources that I gathered for all of the houses out the front, I think at least some of them are applicable to what I want to build in here. And I absolutely hate resource gathering, so I'm going to try my best to make use of all of these. This is like recycling, but not for the good of the planet, it's just out of pure laziness. The only thing that I do need is cobbled deep slate, which is why I'm very painfully converting my regular deep slate into this stuff. Okay, so step one of this process is to do the building around the door, and this is pretty simple. I've known from the start that I want all of this redstone on display, so we're just going to build a little frame.
Blast resistance is very high on that, isn't it?
I decided instead of glass, I would do iron bars, and I don't know if I'm not 100% certain on it.
Yeah.
I do think it looks quite cool, so I think I'm going to stick with it for now, but potentially change it in the future. I'm really trying to avoid getting too caught up on the details on this thing. I want to get the macro done, and then I can focus on the micro. Goodness gracious me. Right, after doing a lot of thinking, I think I'm going to wrap these little sections round and send them right the way up to the top. And the top of this build is actually going to be all the way up here. So this is going to be a very tall room, and it's going to have an open ceiling. I'll explain a little bit more about that in a little bit. Now, one thing that I really need to get better at is making use of gradients in my builds. I've definitely gotten better at randomizing my blocks a little bit and adding more texture to flat surfaces. I think now, to take things to the next step, I need to start adding some gradients and color shifts and gradual I've run out of building words. I basically need to get good, okay? Gradients or not, I do think this looks pretty cool, and don't worry, I am going to be adding some colour into the rest of the build. It's not all going to be this grey. And now that the second side is in, it's time to start working on the rest of the room over here. However, I want to make it clear, if I do have one regret in life, it's not putting this storage system in line with the top chests, and instead putting it in line with the bottom chests on this side. I thought for some reason that would make it more symmetrical, but no, it looks very unsymmetrical. If I were Impulse, I would move it, but I'm certainly not Impulse, so it's staying. Regardless of who I am, I'm definitely struggling. I'm finding this quite challenging, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to boot up my camera account, we're going to get a time-lapse going, and I'm just going to see what happens. This could go horribly wrong, but as a bit of a spoiler, it didn't. It all went perfectly fine, everything went smoothly, and this is once again another reminder to myself that I have to get out of my own way. You know, I have to just stop, because so many times I get caught up thinking about it and wanting to plan it out some more and stressing myself out, when in reality, when I start placing the blocks, everything falls into place and everything starts to work out. And even though the first block can be the most challenging, it is also the most important, because that is what kickstarts the entire process. Anyway, moving on from inspirational building talks, I want to talk to you about the Mumbo Jumbo Jumbo Cycle. For those who don't know, I'm cycling 1,000 kilometers in October for the Cycling Projects charity. I'll put all of their details and the Just Giving page down in the description. So I'll give you a bit of an update. It is currently the 22nd of October, and I've cycled 700 kilometers, which means I've got 300 kilometers left to go. And that is partly in thanks to a 140-kilometer bike ride that I did yesterday, which was brutal. It was really, really difficult. It was also over 1,100 meters of elevation, which basically means it was really, really hilly, and I'm absolutely pooped, but I feel amazing. Like, it was an incredible experience, I loved it, and I cannot wait to knock off the remaining 300 kilometers. I'm going to smash this challenge, and that makes me very excited. And also, we've raised over £5,000. That's nuts. So this is what we've got. This is what we've got building-wise, and I have to say, it looks incredibly grand. This looks very, very fancy indeed. My only critique of it is that currently it looks a little bit cold, and that was not really intentional, but we can fix it. I think to get around this problem, we need to have much warmer colours on the floor, and that will bring the whole build together and make it feel really nice. And of course, I'm going to get a bunch of greenery in and a bunch of leaf action, which definitely should help that situation. But other than that, I really, really do think this looks good. I think it looks super cool, and once again, it is slightly out there in terms of building styles. This is not the sort of thing that I normally build. I think it's safe to say that I'm really pushing myself outside of my comfort zone this season, and I'm loving it. I'm also currently pushing myself outside of my comfort zone because that time lapse was 4 hours, and I cycled a very long way yesterday, and my buttocks are hurting slightly. I really need to stop talking about my buttocks. It is now the next day, and I have at least begun work on placing in all of the floor for this thing. So the idea is that it's going to be in segments. First segment is going to be orange. And orange looks cool, it definitely warms and brightens up the place, which is fantastic, adds a little bit of contrast. I'm a very big fan indeed. It's also, of course, worth mentioning that these lights are just temporary. These are not going to be sticking around. This is not some strange design feature that I've added into this build. The next stage is going to be this midsection. Now, this central area is going to be like a little garden, so we're going to have a bunch of greenery and plants and things in here, and then on either side of it, we're going to have these slightly dipped darker blue areas, these kind of cyan tones that I really, really like. And of course, the entirety of this place is going to be slabs just to stop these guys from spawning, because unfortunately, slimes actually spawn regardless of light level, so I could light this up entirely. These guys would still spawn, so everything has to be slabs, which is a bit of a nightmare, I'm not gonna lie, but it's fine, we can work with it. Although I am a tiny bit disappointed in myself, because if I had just built this floor 3 blocks higher, then I wouldn't be facing this problem. We all make mistakes. This is looking good, this is looking really cool, this is incredibly grand. I know grand wasn't the look that I was going for, but it's ending up grand, and that's grand? I don't know why, but this feels very Art Deco. I think it's the colours that I'm using. It reminds me of like The Great Gatsby or The Shape of Water. Whatever it is, it looks cool. So with the entirety of the floor now all in place, now it is time for me to work out how on earth I'm actually going to light this thing without visible torches, which is something that I always really struggle with. I mean, that doesn't look terrible. That actually looks pretty good. I actually think that adds to the build. And the good thing is we don't necessarily need to worry about light levels, because none of the blocks that are in this room are actually spawnable blocks. This is purely for aesthetics. I still can't get over how grand this is. This guy, unfortunately, needs to die, and the only way that I can think of killing him is by making use of an anvil. This peace, love and plants thing has pushed me into some strange areas of Minecraft. Now the big question is this actually going to work? Are we ready?
It worked!
Yes! That is the first time I've killed anything with an anvil. Wait, does it count as a player kill? Oh, thank goodness for that. I panicked. Anyway, I guess this is a good time to point out that the lighting in this area is done. And
Think about it, it's the anvil that killed him, not
clearly it's not been done well enough. Where? How? What? Why are you here? What have you? What? Where did you? Where? Oh, I haven't done all the lighting down that edge. Maybe? Or maybe this central area is a bit too dark? I can't wait for the part 2 of Caves and Cliffs when they change the way that mob spawns. They only spawn at light level 0. That is exciting. So all of this area is good and done. All of this area is all good and done. This area is not all good and done. I did think about joking that was finished and that was how I was going to leave it, but then I realised that some of you would literally punch me. I would feel a punch just come through my screen. I'd be knocked off my chair and probably go out my window. Collective punch of 500,000 people probably would hurt the face a tiny bit. What on earth has happened to Grian's face?
He has like a mustache.
Grian, and now he's gone. What on earth is he doing? Why does he have a moustache? And why does the moustache look so fine on my face, but as soon as it's on Grian's face, it just looks horrendous? I'm going to try not to think about that too much, because for now I want to get to work on building this.
I think it's because we're all used to seeing it on
I'm
Mumbo's
essentially going to
face.
mirror what we have going on over here. Obviously without the gigantic piston door. Okay, we're off to a pretty good start here, but I don't know what to put in the middle. because obviously we don't have the big piston door. It turns
What about
out
a
this
giant
gigantic
nether
piston
portal?
door is actually pretty cool looking. And now I need to think of something equally cool to put back here. I think now that I've cleared out some extra space, I'm just going to follow along with a similar theme to what we have going on for the rest of the build. That probably makes the most sense. This never gets boring. Boom, boom. 41 levels. Okay, I know I was on 40 before I did that, but still, it's cool. And I tell you what else is cool. This is very cool. I need to be so careful swinging my pickaxe around with bats about because I don't want my first kill to be a bat. Can you imagine? Oh, he's asking for it now. Right, I got to keep my eyes out. Okay, so with this bottom section now done, it is now time for me to move onto this top area here, which is going to be a little bit more challenging. So obviously all of this area is storage system. This part up here, I kind of want it to be a platform going into walls, which will then go into the ceiling, which I will explain in a little bit. But I definitely think I want to continue this theme of the walls going round, and then I think in terms of the floors, I imagine I'll just do some mossage and some greenery. I want it to be quite vegetation based, I imagine. I do quite like the idea of this platform though, and being able to stand up here because it gives a really nice view of this build. I mean, this is a gorgeous looking area. I am incredibly happy with what we've managed to achieve with this space here. And I know it sounds silly, but I've just added in some stone slabs on top of both of the walls, and that makes it look so much more finished. So imagining what it will look like with walls wrapping around the top here, that's exciting. So I guess I should just get to work on it. And the immediate first word that comes to my head is, of course, grand. This is about as grand as it gets. This is like being in a gigantic theatre. This is ridiculously grand. This is like Instagram flex grand. I'm gonna start selling courses on how to become rich like me grand. This is like here in my garage just bought this new Lamborghini, but instead it's this gigantic hall grand. How old is that reference? Seriously, when was that about? I feel like that might have been like 2013, 2014. Some of you might not even been born then. But, you know, grand is good, so I'm going to keep going. Oh, and just to inform you, I'm still a potato. For the past few hours, I kind of phased back briefly to being a human, which was weird. And it's really made me ask a few questions about what I truly want in my life. I actually want to be a potato. If I could somehow peel myself and become a human again, would I do that? Is flesh better than skin? Protein better than carbs? Are potatoes morally better than humans? We're always asking the important questions on Mumbo Jumbo Hermitcraft episodes. It's a bit of a sad day, but unfortunately the corner office is going, and it will be reconstructed if it's needed again. But for now, I'm doing pretty well on iron, so no extra sponsorships are required. Wow. This was a bit of a monstrous project in the end, but I think we can all agree it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks good.
This is so cool. This might just be one of the coolest rooms I've constructed. Until we turn around, yet I still have one tiny bit left to do. I keep forgetting about this back wall. But here's the thing, alright, ZF has just sent me a message asking me if I can check out his redstone contraption, and obviously I'm going to go and check out his redstone contraption. As much as I love building, I've been building for like the past 3 days. I want to see some redstone. So let's quickly bob over there, take a look, and then we can get back to finishing this thing. To the laboratory!
Have you made a potion before?
Not in a long time, actually, to be quite frankly honest with you, ZF. Am I expected to remember the recipes here, or is this...
You, my friend, have come to the right place, because this machine, just through here, step on down, is the Combruta version 2.0 that does all your potion-y needs for you, and you need to remember absolutely nothing at all. So, it's finished. I've just spent the whole day working on this crazy thing.
Right.
I'll give you a clue. Hit this lever first, and then
I think there's
then you can
something
just
similar
peruse
on
and
the,
select whichever potion you like, and we'll watch it be made in front of our very eyes.
Is there a potential
Dang,
that it
can't
could
remember
break?
what server
Do I
it
have
is.
to be a little bit careful?
You can be as rough as you like.
Right. Okay, so this is going. Is that good?
Takes a bit. It warms up. It warms up.
Okay. Okay. Oh! Oh! This is fancy!
Okay, so the machine's now on. It's passive. Now we need to select which potion we want. So you see we've got a bunch of settings over here for potions. You've got your duration and stuff over there. You've got whether you want to make it splash in or anything.
Alright, okay, so I think...
Pick your potion.
I guess... Do I have to do it in any specific order, or is it all fine?
Pull any lever you like in any order.
Right, okay, so I definitely want it to be a splash potion. I definitely want it to last a long time, and I definitely want to have this one.
Speed. Okay, fantastic. So when your settings are correct, here's the button.
Okay.
Feel free to press it and then watch the magic.
Oh, only press once, all settings... Okay, everything is correct. Good stuff. This...
Now we wait. We wait. Which potion did you get again? Speed potion.
Speed potion.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so wait.
Oh,
That is so cool. How is... That is...
it's not finished yet.
What? That is genius.
The trapdoor
That is
just
actually
opens and blocks it, so it just
cool,
goes
dude.
straight
This
down.
Is wicked.
Was that your potion? I feel like a magician now. I do realise I forgot to put some water bottles in, so that's my only bad. But
No. That's absolutely. You also need the blaze powder in the top there in the
oh
brings.
goodness me! Oh, where's the blaze powder when you need it?
Hey,
You sell it, don't you?
I do sell it. Do we have to go all the way back to my shop to get blaze powder?
Have you got any like
Well,
loose in your pockets
No, I
or
don't
something?
just walk around with blaze powder on me, dude. This is not.
Stand there and look pretty. They're brewing all up. You can see though that they're in the right order in the hopper even to brew your requested potion.
This is wicked. Is there any chance? Am I allowed to get like a little sneak peek at the Redstone, or is that pulling back the curtain? And is that?
Oh, you can. Please do. I would love you to crawl around through the redstone.
Okay. I'm excited. This is cool.
We head down here. It's a little bit of a spaghetti mess.
This is definitely a spaghetti mess. This is so fancy. This is so cool. This is by far this is the coolest potion brewing stations I've ever seen. It is the coolest thing ever. You know, you
Clip that, folks.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
This is so
Almost sealed
cool.
approval.
Well, that was ridiculously awesome. And now we have
Ridiculously.
just a little wall up there. Now I want to stick with the depth that we have on the back wall, so I'm gradually taking out this area. And as always, I'm asking whether or not I should have constructed a beacon for this. And because I'm lazy and potentially stupid, I didn't. I have bought all of the acacia wood, so here I am doing it the peasant way. But now, after a lot of work and a lot of grinding away, this build is now all fully constructed, and I am so proud of myself for building this once again. I'm going to pat myself on the back again
On the back.
for like the
Pat
5th
yourself on the
episode in a
back.
row. But this is a wicked build, and it's a
Yeah,
big build.
does look good.
This is actually quite a big build. It didn't seem like a big build when I started it, but look at it, it's gigantic. This is a pretty enormous room that I've just...
Yeah, sometimes whenever you're building something, you just enjoy building it so much that you don't even think about how many blocks you're placing it. You're not thinking about how big the project is. You just do it, and then after a while, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna step back and look at it, and then you're like, wow, I just did so much work. I didn't even realize.
Constructed here. However, there is a gaping hole in the ceiling. And let me just quickly explain. I think me and Grian have a bit of a Vulcan mind meld going on. You know, I feel like we're sharing our two brain cells between us because both of us, independently of one another, came up with the idea of a night sky. And Grian's night sky not only suits his build incredibly well, but his night sky looks cooler than my idea for a night sky. So I've decided that I'm still going to make use of the height of this cavern that we have here, but I'm going to do it making use of luscious things. So I definitely want to have some overgrowth, I want to have glow berries hanging down, and I just want it to look like... I just want it to look almost like there's a structure holding things up to a certain extent, maybe some arches going across, but other than that, it's going to be things growing down into this room. It's going to be like a reverse garden, you know? There's going to be a garden up at the top there, dangling things down into this room. And boy, oh boy, do I think that's going to look beautiful. Just imagining that, I think that is going to look absolutely gorgeous. So that is the plan of action. I'm going to go away and do a whole bunch of designing work and working on some concepts and things, but that is why I put these braces in, because I want to make sure that we have like a good motive for the archways there. I think that will look really cool. But all in all, I can't wait to build it. I can't wait to build it. But that being said though, our base is nearing completion. You know, this room is done, the exterior is mostly done. We're basically almost there. It's kind of come together really quickly. Anyway, I really do hope you enjoyed this Hermitcraft episode, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya! And it goes without saying, I don't know if you can tell, I am really enjoying building at the minute. I'm having a ton of fun. I'm just enjoying exploring my creativity. With that being said, I do think the next Hermitcraft episode is going to be redstone based. You know, I'm itching to do some ridiculous and silly redstone, so prepare yourselves for that.
Alright, so it turns out the video wasn't exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting more of him, putting items into his storage system and getting his storage system ready for all that sorting of items and all that. But still, what he did in the episode was still, it was still fun to watch. But yeah, like I said at the very beginning of the video, if you do like this video, go show some support to Mumbo Jumbo, and the link to the video that I reacted to today will be in the description below. And with that being said, I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.